Dustin looked around him and found himself completely surrounded. What greeted him was a dense crowd of the Hill family's elite. He noticed a few familiar faces among the crowd, including Autumn and Patrick, who stood out especially. Dustin. Upon arriving at the scene, Patrick was stunned, appearing greatly astonished. He had first thought it was someone who didn't know any better when he heard the news. He didn't expect that person to be Dustin. Autumn's expression turned dark when he recognized the person. "You brat. So it's you. That's some courage you've got. How dare you hurt my son? Release him immediately. Release him. Release him now." The elite members of the Hill family began clamoring, each one of them glowering with a murderous look on their faces. When he saw reinforcements arriving, the previously flustered Torben straightened his posture and arrogantly declared, "Hey, punk, weren't you being arrogant earlier? Why are you silent now? You aren't frightened, are you? Let me tell you the truth, the power you are seeing before you is just the tip of the iceberg of what the Hill family is capable of. I know you have some skills, but so what? The Hill family has numerous experts and highly skilled individuals. Killing you is as easy as crushing an ant. I'm giving you a chance now. Kneel before me, and lick my shoes clean. And I might spare your life." After he said that, Torben spat out a mouthful of phlegm stained with blood on his shoe. "Are you seeking death?" Dustin raised an eyebrow in response. "Ha! Do you dare touch me? Open up your eyes. You're surrounded by my people. If you act rashly, you'll die for sure." Torben sneered, looking smug. "It seems like you haven't realized the gravity of the situation. It's all right, let me show you how karma works." With that, Dustin stomped on Torben's knee, bending it 90 degrees into an unnatural position. A gush of blood splattered out in all directions as his bone pierced his flesh. Torben was stunned before letting out a high-pitched, anguished scream. The pain was so intense that he rolled on the ground. "Dustin. Let's talk it out. Don't be rash." Patrick was shocked. If Dustin only injured their guards, he could still get away with it considering his previous merit. But it would be a different situation altogether if he attacked Torben. "Bastard. How dare you continue your assault? You must be tired of living." Autumn was enraged and shot a menacing glare in Dustin's direction when he saw his son's leg getting crushed. Dustin ignored him and stomped heavily on Torben's other leg, leading him to let out another anguished scream. His face contorted in pain as tears streamed down his cheeks, losing all of his previous arrogance. Autumn's anger reached a tipping point as he screeched, "You bastard. You're dead meat. Your whole family is dead meat." It was as if Dustin didn't hear him as he lifted his feet 2 more times, breaking both of Torben's arms. In a short amount of time, Torben had lost the use of all 4 limbs and was suffering from excruciating pain. "Be patient, this is just the start. I'll return the pain and suffering you put Mr. Robinson through twofold." Dustin grinned, looking like the devil. He took out a silver needle and, with extreme speed, pierced it into Torben's governor vessel on his back. It penetrated into his body, disappearing instantly. On the surface, there didn't seem to be any traces of the needle left. Torben's pain increased immensely, and he let out miserable screams. "You despicable bastard. There is no animosity between us. Why did you stoop to such heinous act?" After screaming, Autumn gradually regained his composure. However, the murderous look in his eyes only intensified. "No animosity? Why don't you ask your son what he's done?" Dustin finally looked up. "No matter what my son did, that's not an excuse for you to assault someone here," Autumn declared fiercely. "All of you truly have the same corrupt principles. Since you can't be reasoned with, don't blame me for resorting to violence." Dustin impassively declared, "I'm giving you 3 days to prepare. In 3 days, I want to see your son apologize to the victim. Otherwise, you'll bear the consequences." "Kid, did you think you could leave safely after injuring someone here? Do you think we are at a public playground?" Autumn's rage was boiling. "If I want to stay, nobody can make me leave. If I want to leave, nobody can make me stay either." With that, he kicked Torben away, then turned around to leave. "Kill him." Torben was seeing red as he yelled. The group of elite Hill family members charged at him. If it weren't for Torben being held hostage previously, they would have acted much earlier. Without the person in his hands, they could finally attack. Nobody had ever walked out alive after daring to cause trouble at the Hill family residence. Not even God. However, 10 minutes later, the final guard fell to the ground with a loud thud. Autumn and the remaining onlookers were bewildered. Taking in the figure standing in a pool of blood in the distance, their faces were filled with horror, as if they were staring at a monster. They had mobilized a good 200 to 300 fighters, yet the resulting outcome was everyone lying in a pool of blood within 10 minutes. It didn't matter if they were low-level martial artists or divine-level martial artists, no one could stand against him. The Hill family, established for over 100 years, had never encountered such a formidable opponent. It wasn't an exaggeration to say Dustin had single-handedly destroyed the Hill family's array of highly skilled fighters, dismantling their legacy as a martial arts family. In the end, Dustin left. Nobody could make him stay, and no one dared make him stay either. Silence engulfed the entire Hill family courtyard. What monster is that punk? Autumn swallowed with difficulty, his back drenched in sweat. He never would have thought the Hill family elites would face such a crushing defeat by one man. Uncle Autumn, you seem to have offended someone you shouldn't have. Patrick wiped the sweat off his forehead, trying his best to calm himself down. It finally dawned on him that Dustin didn't stop Paul's punch that day by some miraculous coincidence. It was pure talent. From his actions earlier, Dustin must be at least a fully developed divine-level martial artist. That meant, other than being a grandmaster, he had no competition. The problem was that Dustin was only in his early 20s. His talent in martial arts was simply astounding if he managed to achieve such a feat at his age. Don't joke with me. Autumn's expression grew menacing after he calmed down. I'll admit that kid is skilled. But don't forget, we still have our shadow guards. Patrick frowned. Uncle Autumn, the shadow guards are the Hill family's hidden trump card. We can only deploy them when pushed to the brink of death. We'll also need Grandpa's permission. We can't just use them at will. I don't care. Autumn's face was contorted in rage. I won't accept this treatment. I'm going to kill that kid.